What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video with Matt and Vin. Today we'll be going over a few things from Matchday 8 of the Premier League, and man, I'm happy we're back. It was a long 2 weeks. But before we get into it, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe on this video. And if you're listening to us on Spotify, make sure you hit that follow button and check us out next week and whenever there's a new video. It really helps push our content, and we greatly appreciate all your guys' support. So we're going to get right into today's game because we're a day late, but man, what a game today. Nottingham Forest and Crystal Palace. I forgot. Oh my God, I'm sorry. But I did not get a chance to watch the game because I was working, but I did watch the highlights as soon as I got home, and what a banger, bro. I mean, you guys saw the thumbnail when you clicked on it. Look at the stat line. I couldn't even believe that was the stat line of this game, Vin. I mean, it was crazy.
It was a good game, and we're not a day late because I texted you and I said the match of the week is on Monday. We should probably wait until Monday to do it. And you probably were like, "What is he talking about?" Liverpool
I was
just played this morning.
I was like, "Okay, we can wait till tomorrow for." You said there's a big game tomorrow. I was like, "Okay." And I looked, and I'm like, "I guess that's a big game." And
it's a huge game.
Wow, it was a big game. That was wild.
It's a huge game because Nottingham Forest, as you know personally, they're surprising everyone. I mean, you picked them to be a relegation squad, but like they have one loss and they've beaten Liverpool. This might be a legitimate side who can potentially, dare I say, a hot take. They could be battling for Europe. I mean, they're already in the top half of the table right now with one loss. One loss. You know who else has one loss? Arsenal has one loss. Chelsea has more than one loss.
All right.
Liverpool has one loss. Newcastle has more losses. Villa has losses. I mean, one loss for Nottingham Forest. Nuno made a squad, man. Nottingham Forest is back. And Wood is the GOAT. I stand by the first words of this episode. Wood is playing out of his mind. His goal today, absolute banger.
Chris Wood is tied for number 4 in goals in the Premier League right now. There's a bunch of people with 5 goals right now. But that's 5 goals in 8 games for Chris Wood. He is so far having the season of his life. And I want to ask you a question, Vinny. How would you feel if you had Chris Wood on your team right now?
Dude, listen. Isak's back now, so it's fine. But Chris Wood is, I mean, we had him.
Remember just last time, not 2 weeks ago, when we made a video, you were like, man, we need a second striker. Oh my God. You had 3 actually. And Chris Wood was one of them. I mean, it's probably better for him that he left because now he's having a season like this because he's able to play every week. But I mean, man, imagine what he could do with Newcastle. You know, if your whole team was healthy and was playing good.
Here's the thing. Nottingham, one of the reasons I made the joke that this was the game of the week is because it does have real high implications for what's going on at the top of the table. The top of the table is already weird. I mean, you got Brighton punching way above their weight. Newcastle is sinking. Chelsea kind of popped up out of nowhere. Arsenal takes a bad loss today for Bournemouth. So Nottingham Forest, with that win on Liverpool and now getting that draw today again, or the win today, the win today against Crystal Palace, has firmly put a flag in the ground, a little Forest flag, and said, we're here, we're legit. Last year was a fluke. Don't worry, we're here and we're legit. Wood's goal, like I just said earlier, was an absolute banger, but they're having these stars kind of pop up that other teams may have disregarded for whatever reason. I mean, look at, we were just talking about Chris Wood on Newcastle. Look at Elliot Anderson. Elliot Anderson today had a dribble. He was completely surrounded, dribbled in a circle through 4 or 5 people, escaped, passed off the ball, laid it off, got the ball back, dribbled in the box, cut through 3 defenders and took a shot. That guy was just on Newcastle. He's a Newcastle product. And he's lighting it up. I'm pretty sure that James Ward-Prowse, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Hudson-Odoi, Elliot Anderson. These guys are showing up on Nottingham, and they're insane. They're absolutely lighting it up. I think Nottingham is legit, and I was very happy and excited for the game this week. Or, today.
Yeah, it was an awesome game to see. I mean, I didn't get to see the game, but I enjoyed seeing the highlights. Whoever did get to see it, I'm jealous. Let's move on to the Newcastle game, Vinny. I did not get a chance to watch that either, so tell me about it. What happened?
All right, I want to preface this by saying it's bad that we lost, especially at home. Like we lost at home.
Yeah.
That's
It was against Brighton. Brighton's a good team.
I've been saying since day one. I think Brighton is a legitimate team. I'm not gonna lie, and this game showed that they were pretty legitimate. I mean, if you look at the stats, Newcastle had 60% possession, 21 shots to like their 10. I mean, we were all over them. If you watch the game, seriously, I'm not even kidding, Matt. The first 35 minutes were played completely within 20 yards of their goal. Newcastle was all over them, which was good to see because all year long, we've talked about it here on the show. Newcastle going forward has been nowhere to be found. We finally got Isak back and we were just down their throat, wave after wave after wave after wave of attack. Couldn't score. And then out of nowhere, 3-pass counterattack. Danny Welbeck just slots one in like the 40th minute.
That's how Brighton do things.
Second half starts, down their throat, attack, 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 attack. They have 11 people within 20 yards of their goal. The most compressed defense, it was crazy. Tactically, insane. Defensively, sound.
They're a good team, man.
I mean, that to me was very impressive to show that we can go toe-to-toe and we have a system and a plan in place to compress and play defense. Even if all 11 of our guys are back 20 yards from our goal, we're going to do it. And then we're going to get a result. And that's what makes you a top 4, top 6 team.
Yeah, I mean, so where are they right now on the table? They are up to 5th. Wow. So I mean, I think they're probably here to stay. They're not going anywhere soon. They're not going anywhere lower soon. Maybe a couple places around there, but they are definitely fighting for a European spot right now with the way they're playing.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's sad that Danny Welbeck probably out for their next game. At the end, he was carted off towards the end. But I think that they're legit. And in the same breath, even though Newcastle lost, I think that it showed that we might be back. We might have finally found our footing and be okay going forward. And hopefully, at least.
I mean, you're only in 9th. We're only 8 games into the season, so there's so much that's going to happen. And once you guys get into your flow, I don't see it being a problem.
No.
And on that note, I mean, speaking of teams that are sometimes in a flow and sometimes not, Chelsea, there were times in this game where we were battered by Liverpool, and then there was times where we just smacked them around and did wherever we wanted. It was kind of wild. I mean, we got scored on by a penalty. And then, you know, we fight back, score one, and then give one away right away. So it's like, as soon as we get into that flow, score a goal, we let one up. And you see this in our other games where even the games where we win 6-2, it's 2-2 before we win 6-2, you know? Sometimes we're losing. And, you know, we played well against Liverpool. They're number 1 team in the league right now. You know, they're in first place, and we forced them to win by a penalty and, you know, a little quick goal there to regain the lead right after we scored. But I wasn't impressed by us at all. I think some of our players could have played better. Cole Palmer has had much better games recently. Curtis Jones shut him down pretty much every time I was staring at him. Like, he was glued to him. And there was one chance where he had a beautiful shot that just went right over the bar. He almost drained it. And Curtis Jones was yelling at Van Dijk. And I'm pretty sure Van Dijk was yelling back at him like, dude, you're the ones that's been stuck to him all game. Like, why'd you leave him there? So that was the only chance he had, though. Nicholas Jackson had a couple good chances, and he had the goal. So I don't know. Again, I wasn't really super impressed. I don't know. We need to play better in those games. That's about really all I have to say.
I wanted to just ask one thing, and then I had one comment about Liverpool. But What's up with your goalie, dude?
I don't want to talk about it. Do we really have to?
I'm pretty sure.
I don't know,
I'm pretty
dude.
sure
It's Robert Sanchez. He's so
he made
stupid.
a play that was so lucky that when it happened, I actually had to rewind it. Like, did he actually just do that? Am I not mistaken? Didn't he get a ball and just pass it directly to like a Liverpool player and it bounced off of them and he caught it? Didn't that happen within like the first 10, 15 minutes of the game?
Wait, hold on. So he
got the ball, right? Someone passed it to him and he like took a touch and he went to go pass it back to them. And there was just a Liverpool player standing right there. I
believe it was Cody Yakpo. He comes in and like slide tackles the ball and like flips it up, and Robert Sanchez just walks back out like nothing happened.
The guy is almost he's a walking mistake. Almost every single game he makes one glaring mistake that ends up leading to a potential goal. This time he got lucky, but last week or last game, 2 games ago, didn't he do the same thing? You guys had won the game, 4-2 or 6-2, but he did the same thing. He had the ball, he passed it, went to go pass it and went right to the other team and they buried one.
Yes, he's so reckless. I cannot stand it.
It's one thing when you're winning 6-2, but in a game like this, that could have been detrimental.
So bad. Yeah, it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. I don't understand. We even got like another goalkeeper in over the summer, Jorgensen, and I don't know if they just don't think he's as good or not, but I know Robert Sanchez is supposed to be good with his feet, you know? He's supposed to be good playing out from the back. He's great, dude. He passes the ball to the other team all the time. Yeah, I don't know what his solution there is. He needs to stop playing like shit. He plays, it's not even that. He doesn't play like shit, bro. He plays good. He makes some world-class saves, bro. He saved the last 2 penalties before the one got scored on him yesterday. But he saved the 2 before that. And then he also saved, remember, if you watched, they called a penalty and it went to VAR, and he actually got a touch on the ball, and the ball went out of bounds.
Oh, yeah, at the end.
Right? Like, insane save that he ended up getting. But, dude, then he goes and just, like, makes stupid decisions like that. I don't understand. How could you, like, make these world-class saves, but then be so dumb sometimes? It doesn't make sense to me.
I don't know. That was one thing that threw me off. And the other thing, there was a moment in the game that made me think of something totally, nothing really related to the game, but it was kind of early and Mohamed Salah got a pass down the wing and he absolutely cooks Colwill in a foot race. He actually blew right past him in a foot race. Now I was thinking, I watched that happen. It didn't lead to anything, but I watched that happen. I said, dude, doesn't Salah have like 10 years on this guy?
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, I'm like, Liverpool hasn't signed him to a contract. And people are saying it's because of his age. How can you sit there and make the argument that it's his age when he just roasted someone who's in like their early to mid 20s when he's in his early 30s? The guy looked like he was 26 years old. He was torching your defense at some point. How is this guy not just signed to a 2-3 year contract? How is Liverpool letting this go on? That was crazy. I saw that and was like, dude, this guy is faster. I can't even.
He doesn't look any different than he ever has. I mean, I made the comment in our early season predictions that, he would fall off basically because of his age as well. And I will admit I was wrong to that because he has not skipped a beat once this whole season. He just looks like normal 27-year-old Mo Salah again. So.
It's actually wild, dude.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know why they haven't signed him. They're probably going to if he continues to play like this, like they have to. Maybe he wants too much money or something, but I think he probably wants to stay at Liverpool too, you know?
Well, he wants to stay at Liverpool, and that's the thing. People are saying, well, how could you give someone that's 31 or 32, however old he is, how are you going to give them $500,000 a week?
Yeah, he's got to take a pay cut.
But, dude, honestly, when you're looking at his performance right now, are you going to get someone better at less money? Really?
No.
He's still almost a world-class player. He's like right on the border of still being a world-class player. And by the reason I'm saying he's not is because a world-class player technically would be like, can Mo Salah start on Real Madrid right now? Probably not. But that's because he's old and he would have to compete with players like Vinny Jr. and Rodrigo and the likes of the people on Real Madrid. So he can't really be a world-class player still in that sense. But based on his performances, based on the speed and athleticism he's still showing, Liverpool is messing around by not signing this guy. That's crazy.
He's still probably top 5, if not 5, definitely top 10 winger in the world.
Yeah, easy. Yeah, so easy. That was one thing that stood out to me about that game. But it was a good game nonetheless. I think you guys were in it all the way to the 100th minute or whatever nonsense it went
There was down to the very last couple of minutes we had chances. I mean, I think the game ended with us getting a corner and nothing happened. We were in it, but we're still young. I'm not too upset because we need to win those games, but like, hey, we got a lot of young guys learning from games like those, and we didn't get slaughtered. That's the big thing for me.
Yeah. Overall, it was a good game. Proves a lot about both of those teams. One game I did want to get into is, I mean, we hate to do it because we've been doing it for a lot of weeks at this point, but we got to talk about this Arsenal game, right? Because that's a huge game. Now, obviously, it's one slathered in yet another Arsenal red card. So here we go. Arsenal playing with 10 men for 60 minutes again. Where have we heard that one before?
Who got the red card?
The red card was on Saliba.
Saliba, dude. Oh my god.
So it was for what is it called? A clear goal scoring opportunity or denial of a goal scoring opportunity. He was he was the last defender on a bad pass. And I think it was whoever the Bournemouth striker went to go run on it, and they Saliba kind of clipped his heels and took him out. And it is what it is. It is a red card that he's the last defender and he fouled someone. The ref gave it as a yellow, I think, and then overturned it to a red. Maybe I could get that game mixed up with another one. But how do you feel about Arsenal? Another game, another loss of points based on another red card.
I mean, are we really surprised? This is not anything different than we've seen from them going back to the last 2 seasons where last season they bottled it, right? That what people say. We're the blue $1 billion bottle jobs, but they're the red $500 million bottle jobs, and this is their thing, right? They just don't show up when they need to show up. And it's like not even in the big games. They just show up and don't show up. You know what I'm saying? Like they do stupid stuff. They make stupid decisions.
It's good you just said that because I was going to say, do you think it's a discipline thing? Do you think I'd hate to say it, but do you think these people are like the players who have been there a while? And that's something that Arsenal fans and pundits alike bring up, that, this team has been together for a while. They'll break through. Have they been together too long where maybe the locker room's starting to slip? And I mean, 2 of the 3 red cards they've gotten is just for straight stupidity. Straight stupidity. You're talking about losing points in a tight 3-horse race due to stupidity, and then you follow it up with another red card. That leads to a loss to a Bournemouth side that you should be destroying. That's bad, dude. Arsenal's slipping.
Yeah, I agree. And they're slipping in games that they absolutely should not. That's another thing, right? Where we talked a couple weeks ago about the games that you need to either win or draw to get yourself to that championship at the end of the year, to that Premier League title. And this is a game where it's like, okay, you're down a man. We just need to play for a draw here. Let's get a point out of this because we can't afford to lose these points. You have to. They are now 3 points behind City and 4 points behind Liverpool. That could be 3 points behind City at the end of the year, just like it was last season. And it could be because of this game right here. If you get a point, you're now only 2 points behind. And then at the end of the season, it could come down to 1 game and then you win and they lose. And all of a sudden you jump them with that 3 points instead of tying and then they win on goal difference. Now you're going to win because you got that draw against Bournemouth where you went a man down. This is how you lose Premier League titles. This is not how you win Premier League titles.
And it's actually even worse because this game was way more important than you'd think at first look, that they absolutely needed to win, because I took a second to look at their upcoming schedule, and I'm going to read off the next 6 games that they have, tournaments included, they play a Champions League game tomorrow against Shakhtar. Not on much rest. They play Liverpool Saturday with no Saliba. That's a Premier League game, so he's going to be serving his suspension.
Wow.
Liverpool is a team that they are directly competing with for the title. If Liverpool wins that game, Arsenal will be what? 6 points behind them. 6 points behind the leader with a loss to the leader. Directly after that, they have an EFL Cup game that following Tuesday to Preston North End. Shout out Preston. They always make an appearance.
Yes, always.
Followed up by Newcastle that weekend. So they've already, that's 4 games in like 10 days. Right after that, they have Inter Milan in the Champions League that following Wednesday. That's rounded off by playing Chelsea that Saturday. Dude,
you got a hell of a schedule.
If there was ever a time to have to get 3 points,
it's right now.
It was against Bournemouth, because if you take the tournament games off, you have Liverpool, Newcastle, and Chelsea. All 3 people you're directly in competition with for top 6. And in one of those games, you don't even have your starting center back, right? That's what Saliba is, starting.
Yeah, he's center back.
Center back.
Dude, he's one of the best center backs in the world.
Yeah. So you're saying that these 3 games, and that Liverpool game specifically, that could end their season.
Now that you lay it all out, this next game against Liverpool without Saliba, that's scary, right? Because, I mean, I just watched Liverpool play a full game yesterday, and, you know, they look like Liverpool, but they play more possession. Like, they look like Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool that just plays a lot more possession. And they play some pretty wild, beautiful possession. Yeah. To play them without Saliba, that's going to be really exciting for, Mo Salah and Jota if he plays. I don't know. He had like a rib injury. Or Darwin Nunez. Yeah. I mean, Diaz.
Diaz.
Those guys are going to be licking their chops all week
long. Sly.
Right. That like, oh, dude, they're down their best center back. Like, let's give it to them.
And they're down their best center back, and if we win, we open up a 6-point lead over Arsenal.
Exactly. And then now, like we just talked about, that 3-point gap at the end of the season, that could be a 6-point gap now. And now we're talking like you could be in 3rd, 4th place. You could be fighting for European football at this point if you drop too many of these games. And it's simply because of discipline, because you're getting red cards. They play great when they have 11 men on the fucking field.
But they can't have 11 men on the field. I mean, this was just a funny statistic. Then we could move on to any other games.
Yeah.
We'll just through real quick. The last team to win a championship with 3 or more red cards was Leicester. Before that,
wow,
Arsenal won the league. The year I believe they were invincible. I could be wrong. They got 6 red cards. So we're 8 games into the season, and they already have 3. That on average, that doesn't work. You know what I mean? Like, history shows that doesn't work to win the league unless you're Leicester and you're already on a miracle run. So why not throw in the fact that 3 games you were down a man? Arsenal's already pretty much out. And if you look at those next 3 Premier League games, if you sit here and say they lose to Liverpool because of not having one of their starting best players, okay, fair. If they don't get out of those 3 games with at least 6 points, they're pretty much fucked. It's pretty much over.
Yeah.
If they lose to Liverpool, they have to beat me and they have to beat you. If they don't, if they lose, draw, or draw, or win, draw, like, they need 6 points in their next 3 games to make up for the fact that they just dropped 3.
To Bournemouth.
And playing you guys is going to be a tough challenge too. So I think that we look back, like you said, we look back and say, damn, remember when Arsenal lost 2-0 to Bournemouth? That was a wrap on the season. Yeah. It was over.
Yeah, exactly. This could be season defining. So, all right. Well, let's go through the rest of our games here real quick. One thing, Man City obviously barely won.
Wolves always do. Wolves, Man City at modern you, like, I don't know why the Wolves decide to just always crank it up to 11
It's
when they play
crazy.
Man City.
Um,
I mean, what is it? John Stones in like the 97th minute. The only time the guy scores is if it's in stoppage time at the end of the game.
yeah, it's nuts. And I mean, Bernardo Silva almost gives away the goal, or takes away the goal, I should say.
Oh yeah, for the
Um,
goalie interference.
yeah, I mean, well, what'd you think about that?
No, I don't think it. I don't think it was goalie interference
Okay,
at all. I don't
I
even
didn't
think it
think
was
so
close.
either. I thought it was a little close. I did, but I didn't think it was interference.
The Wolves coach seems to think otherwise. He went out on the record saying that it is a conspiracy that the big clubs always have the calls in their favor.
You're a coach. You'd be saying the same thing. You'd say the refs are paid and it's rigged, and I know you.
Yeah, but I mean, I
Um,
don't even want to get into it. He took it further because I think Howard Webb
Did
was
he?
like at the game or something, or at one of these games, and he was listening into one of the VAR decisions. So it's like, oh, what is this about? He's the head of the reffing committee, and like, obviously, I don't think any of it's true. I just think that it's a pissed off coach reaching at straws. But it is funny that that how often do I text you and I'm like, dude, Man City's just lucky. I don't even know if they're good at this point.
yeah,
Obviously, they're good. I'm just kidding, but they always get lucky like this.
but again, that's how you win Premier League titles.
Right.
It could have been a draw. It should have been a draw, but they squeak it. They squeak out that win, and that's a big 3 points, especially when Arsenal dropped their 3 this weekend. That's massive. Yeah, that's about all I have to say about that. Anything else?
No, what are we running through the scores? And
Yeah, we're just going through everything here.
all right, wait, before we do though, now that we were talking about it, I do just want to say, because we mentioned this on stream, there was a ton of red cards.
I
this
was
weekend.
just about to say that, yeah.
And we've been talking about red cards a lot. Has it gotten to the point where it might be getting a little out of hand? I mean, the Aston Villa game ended 10 men aside. They both got red cards.
Yeah, I mean, again, I've said it. I don't even want to talk too long because I feel like a broken record at this point. It's like 5-6 videos in a row that I've just said, like, these referees are changing games. And yeah,
5 red cards. 5 red cards in total this weekend.
Right. Yeah, some, if not most, I mean, blah, 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 whatever. The refs are just doing their job and they're upholding the laws of the game. But at the same time, like, you guys, they need to remember that, like, this is game altering. I could be changing the champion, who wins the Premier League.
Yeah, in the case of the Bournemouth game, I could have actually just decided the champion.
Exactly. Now, I'm a bad fan. I didn't watch any of these games that got red cards. Did Arsenal deserve their red? Did Saliba?
100%.
Okay, so now, like, I understand that. That's their own fault, right? But at the same time, like, there's 4 other red cards. Was every single red card deserved?
I didn't see them all.
Right, so I don't know either. But going off of our past experiences here in the last couple of weeks, they all weren't deserved. Your red card in the very beginning of the season when Shar got the red card.
Yeah, 5 minutes into the season.
That was absurd. That was the softest red card I've ever seen in my life.
And people still complain the Declan Rice one was absurd.
Right, and then there's that one too where, like, some people say it is, and a couple years ago that wouldn't have been a red card, and now it is. So, like, the players, but also the referees and the coaches, they need to remember that, like, how impactful these cards are right now because they're just flying. It's the Premier League isn't the rough, tough league in England that it used to be. It's not the English league football that it used to be. This is, I don't want to say soft because it's not soft football, but, like, they're just trying to. I understand what the whole thing is because they're trying to make sure players aren't playing too aggressive because they're playing so many games and they don't want to hurt themselves and they don't want the players to hurt themselves. So that's the goal here. But at the same time, when you have someone like Anthony Taylor who forgets how to referee the game sometimes, like, that dude could change the Premier League 4 or 5 months from now, 6 months from now, because he gave someone a stupid red card in October. So, but yeah, red cards are just the talk of the season. It's week 9. I think there's going to be a red card every week for the rest of the season. I'm calling it right now.
It's sad, but it's true. Real quick before you do rattle off these scores and we call it a night. People were arguing, well, how could Salibas have been a red card, but Tosin in your game wasn't a red card when he took down whatever his name was. And
it was
the very clear thing, the very clear difference was that Colwill was considered a covering defender in that particular instance, where even though Colwill was a couple steps behind, he was still close enough where he probably could have affected the player running in behind. The Saliba one, there was nobody. There was nobody close. Like, he took him out, and that was it. There was no one
definitive goal scoring
like, it was definitive, yes. Where yours was a yellow card, and that was fine because Colwill would have had the opportunity to make the recovery run. So that was the difference, because people were arguing, well, that shouldn't have been a red card, and why wasn't a red card for Chelsea game? Yeah. That's why.
Makes sense. All right. Tottenham beat West Ham 4-1. Another red card. West Ham get a red card. Who was it? Just out of curiosity, it was Mohamed Kudus.
Oh, that's a big loss.
That is a large loss. I lost my thing here. Okay. Manchester United beat Brentford 2-1. That's a big win for Man U. They needed that. They move up to -2 goal difference, and I think like 11th place or something. Good for you guys, Man U. You're working your way up there. Aston Villa beat Fulham 3-1, 10v10, baby. Both teams were, they didn't have a guy to play, so they just played their 10v10 pickup game. Aston Villa win 3-1. Leicester City beat Southampton 3-2. Now that was a relegation battle game that we talked about at the beginning of the season.
I want to say Southampton was up in that game 2-0.
Were they? Yeah.
I don't know that for a fact, but it's yes, they were.
Yeah, they were.
2-0, and then in the final 15 minutes or 20 minutes, Leicester scores.
Well, it looks like their red card led to the penalty, and then they got the game winner in the 98th minute. Wow, what a game for Leicester.
Dude, Jamie Vardy and Jordan Ayew scored. That looks like a score line from like 2016. Like, that's crazy.
True.
Good for Leicester. Good for Leicester.
Everton get a big win, 2-0 over Ipswich. Guess Sammy Smodics couldn't carry his team to victory.
Dude, you leave Smodics alone.
Where's he been, Vinny? You were talking about him. He hasn't scored a goal.
Don't worry, it's still early.
All right. Well, I hope so. Yeah, and that's actually it. The only other games were the Bournemouth, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, Nottingham Forest, Crystal Palace game. All right. Anything you want to say here, Vin?
Only tune in. Make sure you tune in, because the real game of the season is happening next weekend.
That's what I was gonna say.
Me and Matt will be streaming it live. Chelsea, Newcastle, one of 2 matches that week. We play each other in the EFL Cup. So that week we're playing each other twice.
That's not this week. That's next week, right?
Or not the EFL Cup, the Carabao Cup, I guess.
That is the EFL Cup.
Oh,
there's the FA Cup and the EFL Cup.
It might be the FA Cup.
Is that
one of the cups.
Yeah.
But yeah, we play each other back to back.
Okay. And I got Conference League games this week too. Man, that's scary.
October
EFL
27th.
Cup, round of 16.
Yeah, October 27th. Tune in for that live stream, and then we play each other that Wednesday again.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens. Oh man. I don't know. I can't say.
It's already unfair because I'll be playing Chelsea A on Saturday, and then on Wednesday I'll be playing Chelsea B.
That's
C,
true. Yeah, the depth, so it's baby.
Like you can't even prepare. It's not even like, well, we already saw you on Saturday. It's like we'll be playing 11 different people on Wednesday.
You're gonna be wishing you had Chris Wood for that second game. All right. Any big games next week? We have
Liverpool Arsenal.
The Liverpool Arsenal game. Yes, that will be the game of the week. But and that's what 2.5 hours after our game, so we'll probably split up and watch that on our own. But yeah, we will see you guys Sunday for that game. That's going to be hype.
Yes, sir.
All right. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching as always. Like, comment, subscribe. If you're listening to us on Spotify, again, thank you guys so much as well. And make sure you hit that follow button. We're out of here. We'll see you next weekend. Peace.
Peace.